You can write a role-playing game, but can you write the promotional copy? Let's take a look at a tool that should help you with that today. Hello, and thank you all for joining us again here today on Hastings County for another TTRPG Talk. This video series takes a look at tabletop role-playing games and related materials, world building, suggestions, and game design. Today, we're going to be doing something that's a bit tangential to that game design, and that's going to be taking a look at some tools that were created by, as you can see up there in the corner, Levi Kornelsen. So we have actually featured one or two things by this creator on the channel before, specifically, there we go, Schema, which is a tabletop rule engine that you'll see in as a part of our SRD series. However, today what we're actually going to be taking a look at is two other elements that you can actually see down here in the miscellany, and that is the one-page sale copy guide and the one-page marketing plan. Because, of course, as many of you probably have encountered who have created your own games and then tried to sell them, you have probably encountered major issues when it comes to like figuring out how exactly to tell people what it is you're making or what you're trying to sell, figuring out the best places to try to transmit that message, trying to find the best ways, especially if you're considering doing something along the lines of like a design quest on Kickstarter, or one of the other crowdfunding sites like Crowdfunder, BackerKit, whatever. Or if you're just trying to sell on itch and you're in that last minute rush at the end of a jam trying to figure out, what do I put on my itch page? Speaking from personal experience there. So let's go ahead and take a look at these. So the first one we'll take a look at is the one-page marketing plan, because typically I find that, obviously you make the sale copy after you figure out what the marketing plan is going to be. But anyway, so essentially Levi Kornelsen has done a lot of research apparently into marketing, and has pulled out essentially what they feel are like the essentials and have formatted them not only for their own reference, but also for us to take a look at as well. By the way, both of these are available on itch. Links will be found in the description down below. But also, you will note that if we scroll down here, it's free. Thank you very much. So here we have the one-page marketing worksheet. This is what you would actually be filling out yourself. So you will notice that, and of course, this is applicable to pretty much everything outside of role-playing games. It's not just that. It could be anything, right? You could be selling books, or I don't know, crochet patterns, or any other sort of crafty thing. This could even be a part of your own work because you're trying to sell a service or your YouTube channel or any number of other things. So anyway, of course, but I'm not going to start here. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop down here to this page where it actually gives you directions on exactly what all else you're supposed to be filling into these sections, so you can get a better idea of what all's going on. So the end point we want to reach is this middle bottom rectangle right here, but I think we should probably start up here, and that is my product is. What are you trying to sell? What do you want people to buy? So of course from here, they have what makes this item unique, what makes it different from other things that are like it. So let's say, again, let's go with the obvious. I'm making a game, right? What makes my game unique? That would be something that you would put here. Maybe I'm using an unusual and interesting new mechanic. Maybe I am setting it in a new place. Maybe I'm trying to have it tell a new type of story that other people haven't done before. Or maybe I'm writing a game people have done before, but I'm doing it in a different language. Maybe I'm writing a vampire story, but it's not a traditional vampire story because it's in cyberpunk. Or it's vampires on the moon. Here we have It's Mine at a Glance. How do people recognize this thing as you or tie it to other things that you have already done before? Of course, this is a really hard thing to try to fill in if this is your very first game. But obviously, if you already have a brand, and I don't mean a brand like you slap a name on every like Dungeons and Dragons is obviously a brand, right? What sort of visual or writing cues or things that you have, or styles of games or game engine or whatever, what is it that you use that makes people say, this is a so-and-so game, right? So that would be here. And part of that, of course, would require making sure that your identity and your story are visible in this item. How does it reflect you as a person, as a designer, as a creator, as a member of your communities that you might be illustrating through your game, or any number of things like that. So, of course, that would also tie not only into this, but also, again, our last box here. It's remarkable because what about your game will prompt other people to tell others about it? Basically, this is, again, when we're talking about marketing, we not only want to sell the game to the person who is potentially looking at our marketing, we also, because they won't always necessarily be looking for a game, in which case they might not buy it, even if they think it's an interesting thing, because they just don't want it, or they just can't afford it, or they have other priorities, right? What makes the people click the quote retweet? Think of it that way. Not only potentially clicking on the link and buying the game themselves, but also what makes them tell other people about it? What makes them excited about it? That would be what would go here. And again, part of that's going to be what makes it unique, what makes it yours as a creator, and what's visible in this, what elements of the identity in the story are visible. So again, this third column, these are already people who are invested financially in your products. This middle one is people who are socially invested, or at least in your orbit, let's say. And of course, the first one these are the people who might be interested in what you have to sell, or what you have, but doesn't know about you yet. So of course, the rest of these sections are just kind of describing that. So for example, here with customers, how do you keep improving the experience? How do you get repeat business from these people, and how do you get referrals from these people? Not only what mechanisms are you used to get those things, but what are you already doing, and what's working and what's not, right? Our patrons obviously are your customers, right? Getting them engaged in the community, that might be Discord. The Discord that's like associated with your Patreon, right? They get in the community, you're engaging with them in there, and then eventually you might convert them over to being customers, right? And ideal prospects, of course, these would be people who maybe you're engaging with on social media, or so they might know about you because of outside things that you're posting and sharing and stuff. And then, of course, that gets them engaged in the audience community. Of course, one way that you convert people from ideal prospects to audience, and then from audience into customers, is first you have to get people engaged and excited on what you're trying to give them, right? And that's, of course, where the sales copy comes in. So again, this would be writing that Twitter post or social media post, right? Writing the ad if you're working for a company, or if you have a decent amount of money. Trying to figure out what exactly it is you want to say in your 1-minute trailer for your video, for your game, to post up on Kickstarter or whatever, right? This is something I am not good at. So let's take a look at this together. So of course here we have our copy guide, and of course here Levi gives us an example over here on the side. So first things first, headline, right? Whenever we are writing copy, we want to catch people right from the very beginning. Okay. Let's say this is a post on social media. Someone's going to scroll past this really fast. So you need that first sentence or two at most to really grab people. And even if it's like somebody clicked on a link and it goes to like a little sort of blurb or a short article that's talking about your thing, even then you're going to need to catch them by the end of the first paragraph at most, because at most they're going to give you like 10 seconds. So basically think of what would a journalist write? I have personally found, both when it comes to writing blogs where I know I don't necessarily have an already invested audience, or again for sales media, really hit it hard at the beginning. So here, the Eldritch Apocalypse is here. Eldritch Apocalypse? What? Wait, what? Cthulhu? Huh? That's obviously going to grab people's attentions. Body text. Here we go. Summarize what it is you're selling, both honestly and positively, and tease anything that is especially neat or crowd-pleasing with it, both in terms of the physical digital thing. So here that was that, 264-page all-in-one book, right? And the actual content, an apocalypse, shambling dead, even bigger problems. Contagion remakes them into designs posed by some inhuman intelligence, transforming living fish into alien forms. We're describing all of the different things about, grotesque materials, new advancements. It all becomes to make a terrible sort of sense, right? You're suddenly beginning to, it's describing not only the fact that obviously there's some sort of zombie apocalypse going on, but something really weird is going on, and there's something tinkering behind the background. So there's that. It says here, make a feature list of all the cool things in your game, right? Using bullet points. This is going to need revisions multiple times because, of course, you're going to probably either A, have trouble making bullet points, B, make too many bullet points, or C, make bullet points that make sense to you, but if somebody who doesn't already know the game reads it, they're going to be lost. So it says here there are two different goals in this section. One is to prove that you have the tools that can deliver on the promise of our description up here. And the second thing is that these bullet points are going to show how features deliver even more good stuff than what we already talked about. So here, rules for sorcery, research, strange science, and more. That, of course, ties back up to the grotesque materials for disturbing new advancements and things making a terrible sort of sense. Here, character archetypes to help players get into play quickly and effortlessly. Well, that's not necessarily described up here, but that clearly describes a way that this game does what we want, but in a very easy, simple, and seamless way. Right? A catalog of monstrosities, each with its own place in creating an eldritch ecosystem being forged. This clearly describes, okay, here's our living flesh transformed into alien forms, right? And they're clearly being directed by some sort of weird, undescribable and ununderstandable. And how do you say ununderstandable? Incomprehensible. Anyway, we have our attention traction, we have our description, we have our evidence that what we are describing is possible. Is this too good to be true? No, it's not, and this is how it is. In fact, it's even better than you think, right? And then here, of course, at the end, we have our call to action or our sting. Say here, right? Do not say if, right? So it says here, close with a sting that raises the interest one more time and makes it clear what the next step should be. Either buying the thing, watching the video, taking a look at the stuff, right? Consider asking a question that can only be answered by taking the step of watching it or doing it or buying it or whatever, right? So it says here, what will you make of the Eldritch Apocalypse? What will it make of you? How will you know? The only way you'll know is if you actually buy the game and try it. And then, of course, there's some descriptions here on how might you consider just putting in testimonials. And then, of course, obviously, there's some good, very, 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 very good descriptions on editing. Sell the experience, not the thing itself. Remember, when you're selling a game, you're not selling the book. I mean, yes, it says Infected is a book, right? But it's a book that's presenting you something. It's a book that's giving you something. So you're not buying it for the book. You're buying it for the experience that the book gives you or provides for you, or at least enables, right? We're enablers. we're enabling the bad habit of buying games. Anyway, and then of course, finally, last, prompt them to buy the thing. Actually, tell them to do it. Or somehow, or like, tell them, I know it's annoying, but click like and subscribe. click like and subscribe for more. Oh, yeah. I think that's a good spot to end there. All right. Anyway, so that was the one-page marketing plan and the one-page sales copy guide from Levi Kornelsen. Again, both of these can be found for free on Itch. Links will be in the description down below, so you can, of course, get it. So definitely check it out. I definitely think it would be worth it, even if you're not into selling games. Even if you're not into selling anything, the marketing plan and the sales copy guide can definitely be really useful when it comes to trying to brainstorm things like, trying to organize nonprofit things or trying to promote interest into your insert hobby group here or whatever, right? You're trying to figure out a way to recruit more people for your, I don't know, skee ball tournament. There you go. Use the sales copy. What are you selling? The experience, remember? Alrighty. Again, thank you all for joining me in here today on Hudson County for another TTRPG talk. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one, or obviously where we're talking about things that are a bit more nitty gritty and a bit more related specifically to role-playing games. But thank you all for joining me in here today. Have a good zone. And don't forget to rate your itch purchases. Like this one right here. You know you want to. Have a good zone.